Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Islam in Bosnia and Herzegovina has gone through a long history. The religion of Allah SWT entered Bosnia around the 15th century. It was the Ottoman Empire under the leadership of Sultan Muhammad that first brought Islam to Bosnia and other areas in the Balkan region, such as Albania, Bulgaria, Croatia, Montenegro, Macedonia, and Serbia. Most of Bosnia was conquered by the Ottoman Turks in 1463, and Herzegovina was conquered in the 1480s. A century later, still under Ottoman rule, many slaves converted to Islam. By the early 1600s, an estimated 2/3 of Bosnia's population was Muslim. Muslim Bosnia is inhabited by three main ethnic groups, namely Bosniaks, Serbs, and Croats. Meanwhile, Islam is the majority religion, generally practiced by the Bosnian ethnic group. The number of Muslims in this country reaches around 3 million people. In addition, Orthodox Christians comprise 31% and Roman Catholics make up 15%. At the same time, Sufism became fundamental, practiced by many scholars. Therefore, Islam in Bosnia and Herzegovina has always been rooted in the teachings of the ulama, centered in mosques and Sufism. Bosniaks generally adhere to the Sunni tradition of Islam, although historically, the Sufi sect has played an important role in this country, alongside adherents of other religions. The groups that exist together with adherents to Islam in Bosnia include the Serbian Orthodox Church, which comprises 35 to 37% of the population, the Roman Catholic Church at 14%, and other groups including non-religious individuals making up 6 to 11% of the population. The small Jewish community has approximately 1,000 adherents and holds a special position in society due to its long history of coexistence with other religious communities and its active role as an intermediary between these communities. Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of the countries in Europe whose population is predominantly Muslim. Every trip always leaves behind a story that will never be forgotten, and this is no exception for the story of Muslims from the Balkans. That country is Bosnia and Herzegovina, a beautiful peninsula known for its natural beauty, a country that was once torn apart by the cruelty of war. Walking the streets of Sarajevo, the remnants of the conflict that once left a scar on this country are clearly visible. Now Bosnia and Herzegovina is at peace with no more whistling bullets threatening its citizens. The lives of Bosnian citizens have changed significantly over the years. There used to be 70% Muslims living in this country of 4 million people, but now only 50% remain. They live side by side with Serbian Orthodox Christians, Roman Catholics, Protestants, and Jews. Although they were once wounded, young Bosnian Muslims are now starting to rise, striving to become the people of Allah SWT while maintaining their traditions. Gazi Husrev Beg Madrasa is one of the most historic schools in the Balkan region. Located in the middle of the Basharshija market, the school was founded around 460 years ago under Ottoman rule. This madrasa has educated at least 10,000 scholars, imams, hadith scholars, and philosophers from the Bosnian region. Today, this general high school has adapted to the development of world education, with Islam comprising 60% of all subjects. In this school, the rest are general subjects. Another notable difference is that classes for male students are always separated from classes for female students. The Muslim women in this school not only have beautiful faces and wear the typical Eastern European hijab, but they also have the will to study their religion as perfectly as possible. One of the most special aspects of this madrasa is its nasheed. The nasheed chants from the Gazi Husrev Beg Madrasa are very popular, not only in Bosnia, but almost all over the world, at least in cyberspace. The melodious voices of the students have been listened to by thousands of fans. This nasheed is usually sung as part of the graduation celebration of madrasa students. What is special is that not only do they have nasheed skills, but they are also taught to memorize and recite the holy verses of the Quran. If you visit Sarajevo, be sure to stop by the Ista CLA Mosque. Just like in Indonesia, Sarajevo also has the ISTA Cloud Mosque. This magnificent mosque was built with donations from Indonesia during the reign of President Suharto. No wonder it has the same name. The ornaments are also very rich with Indonesian nuances. Talking about Muslims in Bosnia is not only about Muslims who live in urban areas, but there is also the beautiful village of Lucir. Here lives a Muslim tribe in the middle of the Banasa Mountains. One of them is named Karim Kovic. He said that Lucir is known as the highest and most isolated village in his country, located at an altitude of about 5,000 feet. This village is covered in thick snow from December to April. During that time, most of the population will move down from the village. The history of Lucir's existence began with the Bosnian king in the Middle Ages, named Stephen Thomas, and his son, Stephen Tomasic, who forced their people to convert to Catholicism. At that time, the Bosnian Christians refused and decided to flee to the middle of the Banisa Mountains, where they built a village called Lucir. The name Lucir means a harbor of peace in accordance with what they were searching for, a comfortable and peaceful life without coercion. The people of Lucir embraced Islam freely, finding something different in it compared to their previous beliefs. Islam was brought and spread by the Ottoman Turks, who came to the Bosnian region in the early 15th century. Soon after, the entire population of Lucir decided to choose Islam and become completely Muslim. Bosnia is one of the countries with many traditional celebrations. In these festivals, dance groups like Ismar usually participate and showcase their skills. There is a unique fact about Bosnia and Herzegovina. It is the only country in the world that has 3 presidents in one term of government. These 3 heads of state represent each ethnic group living in Bosnia, namely Bosnians, Croats, and Serbs. Each president has a term of office of 8 months and then exchanges positions with a presidential representative from another ethnic group. The phenomenon of converts, or people who convert to Islam, is also in the spotlight. Many of them become interested in Islamic teachings after conducting a deep spiritual search. This process is often influenced by interactions with the Muslim community, wider access to information about Islam, and personal experiences that bring them closer to the faith. This development is also supported by increasingly good religious infrastructure, such as mosques, Islamic study centers, and religious institutions that are active in spreading Islamic teachings peacefully and inclusively in Bosnia. Islam is not only a religion that is practiced, but also an important part of the nation's cultural and social identity. The development of Islam in Bosnia and the increasing number of converts show that this religion continues to play an important role in the lives of the Bosnian people, fostering a strong spirit of brotherhood and tolerance. The life of Muslims in Bosnia and Herzegovina reflects a combination of strong Islamic traditions and a rich cultural heritage. As a Muslim-majority country, around 50 to 55% of the Bosnian population is Muslim. Religious life plays a significant role in society. Although the majority is Muslim, Bosnia and Herzegovina is a multicultural and multi-religious country. Relations between the Muslim, Orthodox Christian, and Catholic communities in Bosnia are often characterized by tolerance and mutual respect. Despite a complex history of conflict, Bosnian Muslims generally value diversity and live peacefully side by side with other religious communities. Islam in Bosnia is also influenced by contact with the international Muslim world. Many Bosnian Muslims are connected to Muslim communities in the Middle East, Turkey, and other Muslim countries, which have brought a variety of religious ideas and practices to Bosnia. However, the Bosnian Islamic identity remains unique, with distinctive features and local adaptations. Despite the challenges, Muslims in Bosnia continue to maintain and develop their religious life in harmony with the wider society. When most people hear the word Bosnia, the image that comes to mind is probably one of war. Understandably so, since World War I started there, and the genocide occurred as recently as 1995. Although that was over 20 years ago, the horrors of what happened are hard to forget. The people of this region eat more meats, such as beef, lamb, and veal. If you are a meat lover, you are in for a treat. Their version of kebab is a mixture of meats roasted in an old-school oven, which gives it a wonderful smoky flavor. The fact that halal food is very cheap here is also an added bonus. Bosnian Muslims may not have strategic importance, but they do have symbolic significance. Sarajevo is a word that resonates with many because of the tragedy and fighting that took place there. The Salafis, as Ali Basic said, remain a challenge, but Bosnian Muslims are also concerned about Sufis and Shiites. Bosnian Muslims have a problem with Sufis if they only listen to their sheikhs and do not accept the authority of the community. An imam is not allowed to turn a mosque into a private place for his brotherhood. This is why some grassroots congregations have broken away. If a Wahhabi Muslim comes to us with a diploma that matches our faculty in terms of subjects and scope of study, then he has the right to work in Bosnia. That is Islamic pluralism, he said. In that condition, of course, there are grassroots groups who reject it. For example, they express reluctance to make that person an imam. However, we cannot impose the ban ourselves, he said. Ali Basic spoke about Iran's presence in Bosnia. For him, it is mainly due to Shiism, which is very emotional and full of stories of victims. Bosnians have a weakness for that because we ourselves have suffered a lot and are used to injustice, he added. For a while, Ali Basic explained, some intellectuals took positions that influenced Iran's stance on the Syrian conflict, but now they are trying to back down. In general, he sees more religious influence than political influence, but politically, Iran is too far away. Exploring Islam in Bosnia and Herzegovina is a rich and profound experience because the country has a long history and heritage that is closely linked to Islam. Bosnia is home to many historic mosques that reflect the influence of Ottoman architecture. These mosques are not only places of worship, but also silent witnesses to the long history of Islam in this region. The country, officially called Bosnia and Herzegovina, has a significant Muslim population in the Balkan Peninsula and Europe in general. As of 2013, approximately 51%, or around 1.8 million people, of the total population of the country are Muslims. Their level of religiosity is also quite good, as reflected in a survey conducted by the Pew Research Center several years ago. More than 80% of Muslim respondents in Bosnia and Herzegovina admitted to carrying out religious activities in their daily lives. Looking at historical records, Bosnia and Herzegovina has a long experience with the spread of Christianity before most of its population accepted Islam. Before the arrival of Muslim rulers, the position of this country was quite unique on the geopolitical map of medieval Christianity. Uniquely, both Catholics and Orthodox Christians viewed the Bogomil sect as heretical. Therefore, it is not surprising that Pope Gregory IX repeatedly called for an invasion of Bosnia during the Crusades from 1235 to 1241. It was only in 1322, when Bosnia was led by Ban Katanich, that it formed an alliance with the nearest Catholic country, Hungary. However, this alliance was unable to do much against the expansion of the Islamic Empire, specifically the Ottoman Empire. Schumann explains that the Ottoman sultans protected the rights of non-Muslims in the conquered territories, allowing them to live normally and worship. However, waves of conversion continued to occur. Historians suspect various motives for the local population's decision to become Muslims. Muslim men, women, and children began the tradition by walking 7 kilometers from the city center to the Uva Mountains in Prusak village, central Bosnia. Upon entering the mountainous area, ritual participants must pass through a forest with a narrow path between rows of cliffs. Caution is needed when crossing this steep path because, if one is not careful, they can slip into a ravine, which can result in death. Climbing is one of the most popular activities in this region. Here in the city of Zenica, during Ramadan, fasting is one of the obligations, as is enjoying nature, which is a gift from God. Upon arriving at the edge of a steep and rugged ravine, participants hold a prayer led by dozens of clerics. The location of the prayer procession itself is near a holy spring, which is estimated to be 500 years old. Bosnian Muslims believe that in this location, a great cleric named Ajas Du had his prayer answered by the Creator. The prayer was a request that the dry village of Prusak be given an abundance of water for fertility. After holding a joint prayer, the Muslim community then held a congregational prayer in an open field. Bosnia and Herzegovina is a multi-ethnic and religious country located in Southeast Europe, precisely on the Balkan Peninsula. In this former Yugoslavian country, which was once torn apart by a prolonged war, Islam is the majority religion, with more than 50% of its adherents. The Muslim village in Bosnia is Sarajevo. The name Sarajevo is the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina and may not be popular among travelers. However, this city, with a Muslim majority, is enchanting. Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of the countries that was hit by a major conflict from mid-1992 to 1996, when this country fought for its independence from Yugoslavia. In practice, many cities later became war arenas, and many became seas of rubble due to the bloody conflict between ethnic groups on the Balkan Peninsula. The country's capital and largest city, Sarajevo, also did not escape the rain of mortars or bullets fired by Serbian troops who wanted to thwart the independence of this country. For those who have the opportunity to visit, Sarajevo is a story of suffering, tragedy, revival, and exoticism. As one of the Muslim-majority countries in Europe, the population of Bosnia and Herzegovina as a whole consists of three different ethnicities. The Bosniak ethnic group as the majority, who are Muslim, followed by the Serbian ethnic group, who are Orthodox Christians, and the Croatian ethnic group, who are Roman Catholics. Bosnian Muslims themselves are also the only Muslim population in the region. Those who come from the Slavic ethnic group or look like Caucasians, such as having blonde hair or blue eyes, are notable in the region. Perhaps one of the most famous examples is Edin Dzeko, the most famous Bosnian footballer who now plays for AS Roma in Italy and was once a Premier League champion with Manchester City. The city center of Sarajevo itself is an interesting blend of two contrasting cultures and architectural styles, namely Ottoman Turkish and Austro-Hungarian. Entering the Old Town area, on one side, you will feel like you are in the city of Vienna, but if you go deeper, the atmosphere becomes akin to Istanbul. Not to mention, the local culinary scene, particularly the sepi, is very similar to Turkish kebabs, and the many souvenir traders selling the evil eye, which is identical to typical Turkish souvenirs, really add a different aroma compared to other European countries. The most famous landmark of the city of Sarajevo is Başarşehir, which became the center of commerce or the Grand Bazaar in the style of Turkey during the Ottoman era. Founded in 1462 by the Ottoman general named Isa Beg Isakovic, it features an iconic Ottoman-style fountain called Sebelj in the middle. Currently, Başarşehir is the main gathering place and a center for typical Bosnian souvenirs, slightly emphasizing Sarajevo as a little Istanbul on the Balkan mainland, a symbol of Islamic revival. In Vojvodina, a city in Bosnia and Herzegovina, there is a population of around 32,000 people. Although it is predominantly inhabited by Muslims, there are not many buildings that serve as icons of pride for the Muslim community. This is due to the destruction of historical Islamic sites that occurred when Bosnia was still part of Yugoslavia, especially during the communist era. This condition was exacerbated when the Bosnian War broke out in the 1990s. The war, which lasted until 1995, destroyed 20% of mosque buildings, and after the prolonged conflict, less than 70% of mosque buildings and historical Islamic sites remain throughout Bosnia, including in Vojvodina. After the reintegration of Vojvodina into the state of Bosnia and Herzegovina on February 23, 1996, Muslim residents who had fled to various regions returned to this area. They also rebuilt one of the important mosques in this region that had been destroyed by the Civil War. Bosnia and Herzegovina's decade-long journey after independence shows that there is hope for the pulse of Islam in this region. Development in Vojvodina continues to grow, encouraging the reconstruction of the Vojvodina Mosque in 2005. The mosque is located not far from the main Vojvodina station and was opened in 2006. The presence of this mosque signifies the rise of Muslim spirituality. In this region, the cost of building the mosque was purely obtained from the collection of donations from the Vogošća Muslim community. The cost of building the Vogošća Mosque was $870,000 or 11.3 million BAM. An experienced architect from Sarajevo, Kemal Zukic, was trusted as the designer of the Vogošća Mosque. Kemal Zukic is indeed famous for his abilities in contemporary Islamic architectural art in Bosnia. Since 1995, he has been trusted to reconstruct historic Islamic buildings that were destroyed by war in the Balkan region. In the architecture of the Vogošća Mosque, Kemal Zukic included a different model from the structure of mosque buildings in Bosnia, which generally follow the Ottoman style. This mosque displays a more modern and futuristic impression. It stands on an area of 2,300 square meters with a total building area of 853 square meters, including a ground floor of 349 square meters. The initial construction of the building actually began in 2000, but the overall work commenced in 2005. The building's foundation structure uses reinforced concrete slabs, beams, and columns, while other structures also use bricks as part of the walls. In addition, the distinctive modern style of the mosque's minaret is dominated by a glass structure with a concrete frame. The Vogošća Mosque plan consists of 3 parts. The ground floor includes a meeting room, a place of learning or madrasa, a library room, a place for ablution, and a bathroom area. Then on the first floor, there is a main prayer room connected by 2 staircases from the ground floor and the main staircase from the northwest. On the second floor, there is a smaller prayer room for female worshippers. In this area of the mosque, worshippers can not only engage in religious education, but also socialize, rest, enjoy food and drinks, and gather together. The Muslim tribe in Bosnia, or Bosniaks, plays an important role in the history and culture of Bosnia and Herzegovina and continues to contribute to the social and political life of the region. Mosques in Bosnia and Herzegovina do indeed play a central role in the daily lives of the Bosniak people. The presence of worshippers who fill the mosques, especially during congregational prayers, shows how important religion is in their spiritual lives. The 5 daily prayers, especially Friday prayers, are often packed with worshippers. This reflects the strong commitment of the Bosniak people to Islam and highlights how the mosque is an important gathering place for the community. In addition to prayer, mosques in Bosnia are also venues for various social activities, such as religious studies.